So I finally bit the bullet and bought a DRO kit. This is a machine DRO kit. It's a universal 3-axis milling machine kit. I'm just looking at the display and the arm for the display, and then looking at how this mounts on the bottom of the actual display unit. And it appears that we go like this, like that, and then effectively this bolt then goes between those two brackets like that. So that appears how it goes. There's no actual, it's interesting, there's no actual instructions for this bit, or I can't find them within the actual general instructions. So what I'm going to do is I'll mount this up with the bolt in the middle, and then that unit can be just come on, just I can drop that on when I need it. And I also need to look at the arm itself. The milling machine I've got is the Sieg SX2 is quite small, and this arm feels quite long, so it doesn't need to be that long to keep the display away from the surface that it's mounted. So I just want to take you through the sensors themselves. So what we've got is these sensors. These are the magnetic sensor head. Nice and simple, lovely clear label on here. You can see there's an arrow on it explaining where it's measuring to, where the reference is, and that's this face here. And this, the final installation, runs against the magnetic strip that is held in this aluminium channel. So this will move along here, and the distance away from that channel is between 0.1 and 1 millimeter. So that's the range it can work at, and there's a number of angle measurements in terms of how much tilt it can have in any direction, and that's all in the actual data handbook, in the actual installation handbook. The cables are very long, they're armoured, and they've got an RS232 connector on the end, so it's important to keep that connector clean. I've been bagging mine up whilst I'm installing it so that no dirt gets in there, and treat these heads with a bit of respect whilst we're installing it. Don't bang them around. Now let's look at the actual magnetic strip itself. It comes in, so what we have is an aluminium housing. So let's just take off the cover and then take the magnetic piece out. So what we have is an aluminium housing, piece of channel, with a channel on the top so that you can attach a guard over the top of that if you like, and that depends on the installation. You don't have to, but there is a guard that can be bolted over the top. I think I'm going to, on one of the axes, bolt this over the top, and I'll show you that when I bolt this on. It comes as a plain channel, but it's got a very clearly marked groove down the back as to where you drill for the actual bolts. So that's all right. And then what happens is, once we've fixed this to the actual machine, we then have got some sticky tape on this magnetic tape, and that then fits on top. And then over the top of that, we slide in this stainless steel cover. That slides in, and then finally a piece of neoprene, round neoprene, gets pushed into that groove, both top and bottom, and that seals that channel. It doesn't seal the ends, but it does seal the length of the channel, top and bottom, so that nothing actually goes in and then into the actual mechanism, in the actual magnetic strip. So that's what we've got to fit, and then we've got to fit those with a number of brackets. So this bracket fits to the encoder and fits on the top of the encoder like that. There's two countersunk cap head bolts that fit in there, and then this part can fit to what comes with the kit, a number of different brackets. I'm using these right angles, which they're quite small, but they're not actually that small when you look at the size of the milling machine, but I'm going to use them for now. I might make some better brackets later, but these will give me a good start. So here's my brackets, and you can bolt those onto the mill and then onto this head, and then they hold the encoder over the top of this channel. There's a number of other types of brackets. There's much bigger ones, there's some flat ones, and there's some large flat brackets as well that all come in the kit. They come also with, when you look at some of these, they come with the ability to actually jack them as well, so you can put grub screws in there and jack these out and really level them up. So there's a lot of options for mounting here. That's a really good, decent general purpose kit. So here's the milling machine. If we just offer this up, this probably wants to sit, and I've got the milling machine slightly turned wrong there. Let's just turn it around fully just to get the feel for it. There it goes there. So I probably want the display. It's not so easy actually thinking about it. Probably be better on the top actually, but that might be too high when I'm working. I tend to work, yeah, I want it really, it feels comfortable about there. So I want to make sure that I can get to the handle, and that's okay. And I also want to make sure that then that this goes on, it's probably too far out, that bracket, but not a million miles away. The only thing is, it's going to end up mounting to this case, not to the actual main arm, which I'm not sure that's a good idea. But also the hole wants to be right there. What I might do is not cut the arm down yet, but I might drill a second hole in it so that I've got a couple of mounting points for it. And then later I can shorten this arm once I'm really firmed up on what I want. I can shorten it and do something with it, but I won't shorten it now just in case I get it totally wrong, and that would be a shame. Now on the back of the mill, I've undone the bolts, but I can drop off this case off the back of the Sieg, and then we can see the main column. So there's the main column. I might be able to just get this on, I probably can't if I'm going to put, the problem is that the linear scale wants to go there really, not the other side, because the other side I've got a, I might go the other side, but the other side I've got a, you've got the clamping of the actual Z-axis, which is not so good then. It really wants to go there. Could go the other side. It would be away from the handle then, which would be good. The X-axis will go on the back of the table, and then the Y-axis will go under here. Again, I've got the locking point here, so it would be better if it is the other side. But then the other side, I've got the nut, so it's not so easy to mount the bracket for the actual measurement system. On this as well, it feels like they're upside down, so I won't be able to put the covers on, because effectively the measurement head is on the moving part, and the lower part is where the scale is going to go. It's only on this one where it's going to be the right way around, and I can put the cover on this main axis, and that's good because there's a lot of stuff comes off here that will protect. What I might have to do is just move this and this over to protect the scale here from the chips. Okay, that's coming on, that's looking good. So just looking at the other side of the milling machine, there is actually enough room here to get a bracket on for the magnetic measurement head, and put the scale on the side here. The actual motion of it I've measured on the other side, and it's not a huge amount, so the scale will go roughly from here to here, and the head could fit on the top here, and I can make a bracket up that puts it off here, so that I can get that working really well. The Y-axis, I'm going X, Y, Z. Is that right? I go from X to Y and I screw up in Z. So that's here. X, Y, Z. So my Y-axis, there is a block under here, which is where the thread, the main nut is held for the X-axis thread, X-axis lead screw. But there's still enough area on there to mount a bracket, and I've got to just check that. I'll go and get a bracket and just check that before I end up turning this around in terms of where I fit things.